Americans are struggling to obtain a piece of the American dream. First-time home buyers are too fearful to step into the housing market due to economic uncertainties. But some young people are turning to their loved ones for assistance. According to Redfin, 38% of recent home buyers under 30 use gifts from a family member to make their down payment. But many Americans don't have family members to turn to for that assistance, so they're just holding out hope that interest rates and home prices will drop. But sadly, that likely won't be happening anytime soon. Most experts say they aren't expecting either of those things to go down in 2024. And the finance company Fannie Mae is backing those claims as well. According to the Fannie Mae Home Price Index, they're expecting prices to have grown by 6.7% on a Q4 to Q4 basis, up from their previous forecast of 3.9%. Fannie Mae says, quote, the upgrade is largely due to higher than expected incoming transaction data over the third quarter. House prices have proven to be more resilient than expected in light of higher mortgage rates and affordability challenges. So, big question, what does this mean for those looking to get their foot into the housing market? Let's ask Sim Capital CEO Matt Simmons. Matt, thanks so much for being here. I have these conversations with Americans, friends all the time right now, particularly some of those looking, to make a move or first-time home buyers. I have friends who are first-time home buyers, and they keep thinking that, that there's going to have to be a crash, or interest rates are going to have to come down. And then there's some speculation that because next year's a presidential election cycle, that there might be, even though the Fed's independent, right, there might be some softening of the interest rate. So what's your prediction? What should potential home buyers expect in the next year?
Home buyers should expect a lot of the same that's been going on over the last few years. We're in a supply and demand market, and the demand is far exceeding the supply. And even with interest rates rising and affordability dropping, there's still a low supply of homes on the market. So what does that mean? Well, that means that prices are going to continue to increase. And when the Fed actually decides to drop rates and we start seeing a correlation with interest rates dropping, that's just going to bring even more demand. So those that are waiting on the sidelines thinking prices are going to drop, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Interesting, because there's another topic that I would think would factor into this, and that's the home foreclosures, right? Which according to new data, are up 34% foreclosures from the same time 1 year ago. Now, even though they're on the rise, they still, remain below levels recorded during the 2008 financial crisis, when you could just, throw a rock and hit a foreclosure about anywhere. So, will this not affect the market or affordability of houses? And should buyers or people looking to invest in building up a real estate portfolio, is this going to be a time of great opportunity for those groups of people?
So let's break this down A and B here. So let's talk about foreclosures and kind of put it into perspective. What people are making a big deal about is this increase year over year, Q3 over Q3, right? But if you really want to put things into perspective and compare apples to apples, we actually have to go back and compare this year to 2019, before the pandemic, before the rent and foreclosure moratoriums were put into place, and before all that extra money was dumped into the market, which helped to stimulate the housing market and drive prices up. So if you're looking at it this year compared to 2019, foreclosure rates are still lower Q3 of this year than they were Q3 of 2019, when the market was still continuing to climb, when prices were still continuing to appreciate. You can't take the data this year and compare it to really 2020, 2021, or 2022 because of all the extenuating circumstances that came into play due to COVID, due to the moratoriums put into place, and due to the shutdowns. So what that means is that, yes, foreclosures are up year over year, but they're still down compared to the last normal year. And that's still not near enough inventory that's going to come on the market that's going to drive prices down.
I see. Let me also bring up this tweet from Steve Cortez. He says that existing home sales plunge as rates rise. Buyers cannot afford near 8% mortgages, and would-be sellers feel trapped in current homes with low rate loans, many around 3%ish, if you were lucky enough to get in on that. This dearth of home sales hasn't been seen in the U.S. since the 2008 housing crisis. He attributed that to Bidenomics. Can you blame all of this on Joe Biden's economic policy, or is it more nuanced than that?
I don't think it all can be blamed on that. Obviously, inflation rates have play a big role in people's affordability, and we all can blame Bidenomics for the 9% plus inflation that we have seen over the last 12 months, 18 months. But I just think everything culminating together with the higher interest rates, the higher inflation reduces people's affordability. And that is going to just slow down what people can afford to buy and what they can qualify for, because what someone could qualify for at a 4% interest rate, they can't qualify for now at almost an 8% interest rate. And so they're just not going to shop for a home at that point.
Yeah, that's an important point. So bottom line, if you're sitting on the fence, you might just want to go ahead and jump the fence and purchase, because it probably isn't going to get better. Bottom line, correct?
Yep, that's what I tell people. Buy now. It's not going to get any better. Rates are going to go down eventually, but prices are going to continue to go up. And you can always refinance into a lower rate down the road too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an important point that some people don't consider when they're looking at that initial interest rate right now, is that there's potential for that down the road. And a lot of people took advantage of that when rates did so low over the last few years. Thank you so much, Matt Simmons. That's the main thing most people want to know. We appreciate you.
My pleasure.
And if you'd like to follow Matt's you're welcome. And if you want to follow Matt's investment tips, which I think would be a great idea if you're in the market, you can head over to his Instagram and give him a follow by searching Real Matt Simmons. Again, that's Real Matt Simmons on Instagram.